Hey everyone, Jen at Ink Paper Rubber, coming to you on a rainy Friday afternoon. I hope this time works out well for everyone. It actually works better for me. I don't have to be quite so rushed when I get in to get set up for it, and I thought maybe for some of you it would work better as well. I know some of you aren't early risers, and some of you I thought that are working, maybe you would be able to catch this on your lunch hour. So hopefully this will work out well. Do have a lot of things to share with you today. I'm not even going to share everything new that we have in. There's not going to be time. We have so much other stuff. But we do have a new Tailored Expressions mini release. This is their Cat Lovers release. And then we have a ton of new dies as well as some fun new stamps and other things. So lots to get through today. If you want to purchase any of these items, you can go ahead as usual and comment on this video while you're watching. Just comment sold and the item name that you would like to purchase. If you want it shipped, also comment ship. If you are planning to not have your item shipped, then we would ask that you either come by sometime by the end of the weekend or to pay and pick up your items, or if you can't make it in, go ahead and just give us a call this weekend and you can pay over the phone and we will hold on to it for you until you have a chance to get in. So let's go ahead and jump on into this. We're going to start off with the new Tailored Expressions release. As I mentioned, this is their Cat Lovers release. They had some great stamps and dies that came out earlier in the month or towards the end of last month for dog lovers, and they didn't want to forget the cat lovers, so we have some great new products for those. The first one is called Loyal Friend, and truthfully this one would be great for either cats or dogs or any sort of pet. This stamp set is $10, and you can see it comes with this pretty stamp that has the feathers, and the paw prints are part of that stamp, and then it has a couple of sentiments on here. This makes a great sympathy card for someone who has lost a pet. So this one is called Loyal Friend, and it is $10. The next set is called Whiskers, and this set is $17. It's a little bit bigger set. You can see you have the one stamp that has the paw prints, and truthfully you could use that for dogs, I think, as well. I know that dog and cat paw prints are a little bit different, but I don't think anyone is going to be able to tell. But then there are also some great cat-related sentiments on here as well. When all else fails, hug the cats. Cats leave paw prints on our heart. Cats are my favorite people. So this is the Whiskers stamp set, and it is $17. They have a new Simple Strips background stamp. This is one of the full-size stamps, so this works with the two full-size Simple Strip dies, the original banner end and the new rounded end that came out last month. And again, this is called Simple Strips Meow, and this stamp is $15. It is a single background stamp. You can see that it has the registration marks that stamp that allow you to line it up very easily with the dies to cut all of these out. And you can see that most of them on here are cat related. There's a few on here that are a little bit more generic, but some really fun sentiments on here. Love that cat hair, don't care. So that is the Simple Strips Meow background stamp, and it is $15. Next up, we have a really cute die set. We had some dog silhouettes that came out with the Dog Lovers release, and this time we have some cat silhouettes, and there you can see they're larger than they show on the front of it. You get the three separate dies. This die set is $12, and it's the Cat's Silhouettes die. And finally, we have a new stamp set with a coordinating die set. This is called Max and Millie. It is a full-size set, so you get lots and lots of things on here. This stamp set is $24, and you can see it's this really adorable cat and then the sweet little mouse that goes along with it, and some really great sentiments. A lot of ones that are good for birthdays. Love that little mouse right there. Some encouragement. Just hello, thanks for being a friend. Love this guy here. I think he is so cute. So this is the Max and Millie stamp set, and it is $24. And there is a coordinating die set that cuts all the little cats and mice out, and that die set is $30. So that is it for the new Tailored Expressions Cat Lover release. Some great products in there, so let us know if you would like any of them. And actually, before we move on, why don't we go ahead and take a quick peek at some samples. Let me go ahead and pull a chair up so I can sit down and see if I can get to the appropriate place where I have these samples. All right, so this first one here uses the Loyal Friend with the feather and the heart, and also the sentiment there, your wings were ready, our hearts were not. And then it uses one of the cat silhouettes on there, so I think that's a really lovely sympathy card. Here's some cute cards and tags, some little shakers featuring the Max and Millie stamp set. Here is a great slimline card. Those are so popular now, using the cat silhouettes, and I know it's kind of hard to see, but it has some of the Simple Strips on there, using the new rounded Simple Strips die. And here is another sample using the new Meow Simple Strips dies, as well as some of the cat silhouettes. And I think what was done on here is, I actually think that they cut those silhouettes out and made their own stencils, maybe, is what it looks like on there. I'm not sure. I'm sure you could go to the blog post for this and find out all about it. All right, so moving on now to our new dies, and I'm going to give you a little information up front. These dies are all from Tutti Designs. We have had some of their dies in before, and these are something that I don't have available to me to purchase all the time. Periodically, maybe once every few months, one of my distributors has a week where I can order these dies, and I can only order them during that week. After that time period, I cannot order them again. So what I have is what I have. I don't know if I sell out of something. I have no idea when I might be able to order it again. So if you see something you really want, you probably want to jump on it. I also have some holiday things in here. I have some Halloween and I have some Christmas. And again, they had some really great dies, and I wasn't sure when I would be able to get these back in again, so I wanted to go ahead and bring them in now. So we have kind of a wide range of things, including some holiday. But first we're going to start off. We have a bunch of really great fairy themed dies, and we also have some great little houses here. And on all of these, I'm going to show you the picture on the front, but then I'm going to turn it over because these look like they're teeny tiny, and they're actually quite a bit larger than that picture shows on the front. So I want you to be able to get some idea of what the size of that is. So we're going to start off with some fairy houses. This one is the Gourd fairy house. This die is $9.50. You can see they've made a little fairy house out of a gourd. We've got some flowers growing up along the side. So this is the Gourd fairy house, and it is $9.50. Next up, we have a pumpkin fairy house. This die is also $9.50, and it is a fairly similar size to that last one. So looks like it's maybe about 2.5 inches tall. So this one is the pumpkin fairy house. We also have some great toadstool dies. This one is the Toadstool Frame die, and it is $10. It includes the frame as well as the little curly cues and the mushrooms inside, and you can see this is a pretty good size die. This is the Toadstool Frame die, and it is $10. Next up, we have some magical toadstools. These are going to work great with some of the fairy dies that we have, also maybe with ones you already have or some fairy stamps you have. This one is $9, the magical toadstools, and there you can see the size of that. Now we're going to get into some of the actual fairies themselves. This first one is Fairy on Toadstool, and it is $10.50. And there you can see quite a bit larger. So there he is sitting on a toadstool and holding some flowers, maybe some bluebells. So this is Fairy on Toadstool, and it is $10.50. Next up is the Moon Fairy. Like this one a lot. This one is $11. And there you can see this is actually quite a really good sized die here. So this is the Moon Fairy for $11. Next we have the Swinging Fairy, and this fairy is $10.50. And get it to focus for you there. The Swinging Fairy. Some toadstools and flowers down there, and again, this is quite a good sized die, the Swinging Fairy. Next is the Mini Fairy set, and this die set is $11.50, and those really look teeny tiny there, and these really aren't all that tiny. You can see you get the 4 different fairies there, and they would work a great scale with any of the things that I've already shown to you. This is the Mini Fairy set, and it is $11.50. This next one could be used for a lot of things. It doesn't necessarily have to be used with the fairies. I think it could be. At the end, I'm going to actually show you a sample where they use this with some of the underwater dies that we have. But this is the Magical Castle, and it's $10. It's great for a Disney theme project. Any little girls that you know that are into princesses to use with the fairies. Lots of uses for this one. This one is the Magical Castle, and it is $10. We have another little fairy house. This one is the Flower Roof House. It is $10. And again, it looks like maybe a tree stump with some flowers and toadstools. And here is the size of this die. This is the Flower Roof House, and it is $10. We have another little fairy here for you. This is the Magical Fairy. And the Magical Fairy is $10.50. And actually, I think you can almost see better on the back. You can see all the little viney curlicues with some little flowers. I love how her dress looks kind of like flower petals there. So this is the Magical Fairy die for $10.50. And one more fairy. This one is the Flying Fairy Scene, and it is $11. And again, a really good sized die here. She's flitting around with her little magic wand there. This is the Flying Fairy Scene, and it is $11. All right, next we are going to get into some great underwater and nautical themed dies. I told you we had a wide variety of things today. This die is called Ship in a Bottle. It is $9.50, and that is exactly what you get, is a ship in a bottle. And you can see there that it looks like that is a separate die for the ship, but here you can see what the die looks like, although it probably actually does cut that out separately. You could use it separately or piece it back in with your bottle. So again, a really nice size die. This is Ship in a Bottle for $9.50. This is a great one for underwater scenes. This one is called the Coral Reef Scene. You can see we have some seaweed, some fish, we have some shells, some starfish down there, some little bubbles floating up. This is the Coral Reef Scene die. It is $11, and once again, quite a bit larger than you expect when you turn it over and see the actual size of it. That is the Coral Reef Scene for $11. This one is, I think, really fun and unique. This is the Whale Reef die. It is $10.50, and you can see you have the silhouette of a spouting whale, and then you have a little reef scene inside with the coral and the seahorse and some of the fish and the bubbles. The Whale Reef die for $10.50. And this is our last nautical themed one. This is a very unique one, I think. This is the Seashell Lighthouse, It is $10.50, and you can see we have the shell in the background with the lighthouse in front of it. I think this one is very, very cool. So this is the Seashell Lighthouse, and it is $10.50. This next one kind of doesn't fit in any category, but I thought it was a really cute die. This one is called the Love Bulb. It probably was intended for Valentine's Day, but I think you could use it for a lot of things. It's really interesting. The Love Bulb is $10, and you can see here what you get, the light bulb, and it has the heart filament on the inside. So that is the Love Bulb die, and it is $10. Now we have a few Halloween dies. This first one, I love this one. This one is called Witch Leg Soup. It is $9.50, and you can see here that you have the cauldron with the bubbles, and it looks like the witch has fallen into the cauldron while she was stirring up her concoction there, and you can see her legs sticking out. Again, quite a good sized die here. This is the Witch Leg Soup die for $9.50. This next one is a cute little silhouette die. It is called Trick or Treaters. It is also $9.50. You can see here we have the Trick or Treaters. We have a pumpkin and a ghost and a little witch, and they have their little black cat with them, and they are out trick or treating. There you can see the size of that. So this is the Trick or Treaters die for $9.50. And lastly, for our Halloween dies, we have this Cute Witch. That is the name of it, Cute Witch, again for $9.50. What really captured me about this one is I love the spider web in her skirt. And there you can see the size of that die. This is the Cute Witch for $9.50. Let's see, we'll move that over there and do that in a minute. Next we have a couple of a little bit more generic dies. These are part of the Tutti Designs stained glass collection, and I think you can see why they are called stained glass because of the way they are designed. This is the stained glass cake, and you can see here a sample of what it might look like when you do this up. This is $11.50. And here is the size of that. So that's a nice size to use on a card for birthday celebrations, or if you do it up in some really elegant, maybe some whites and off-whites would be a great wedding card. The stained glass cake die is $11.50. And we also have the stained glass birdhouse die, which is also $11.50. We have the birdhouse, a little bird perched up there with some flowers. Again, a good size to use as the focal point on a card, the stained glass birdhouse. All right, the last dies that I have for you from Tutti Designs are all Christmas and winter themed dies. I know that seems like a long way off, but I wanted to get these in while I had the chance to do it. The first one is the Nativity Ornament. It is $9, and you can see here we have this nice little ornament with the nativity scene inside. And here is the actual size of that die. That is the Nativity Ornament for $9. We have a couple cute little snowmen die. The first one is called Snowman Trio, and it is $10.50. And you can see, in fact, it's a cute little trio of snowmen. The Snowman Trio for $10.50. And we also have the Snowman Panel for $11.50. And he is quite a good size die. That is the Snowman Panel. And the last two are a little bit more winter themed. I really like both of these. The first one is called Winter Lantern, and you can see it in fact is a lantern with a little winter scene inside of it. This die is $10.50, and there you can see the size of that. And our last Tutti die is called Christmas Bottle, and this time we have another bottle, but instead of a ship inside of it, we have a little winter scene with the trees and the mountains and the snow and the deer. This die is $9.50, and there you can see the size of the Christmas bottle. Alright, so that does it for the Tutti dies. I will show you some samples here in a minute, but I also have a few other things that I got in with this shipment as well. The first one is a new clear stamp set from Pink Ink Design. This one is called Friends Always, and you can see you have this beautiful fairy here with the little mouse, and let me just turn it over so that you can see that. The other things that you get with it, there's a snail, some butterflies, some ferns, we have some mushrooms there. So this is great if you are into any kind of fantasy things to build your scene. This one is called Friends Always, and that set is $18. And this is something I've been looking at bringing in for a while, and we have finally done it. Some of you may be familiar with the artist Dean Russo, and Stamplistic is a stamp company that has licensed some of his artwork. He does mostly animals, lots of dogs and cats, wild animals, birds, and they are really, really unique. And they have licensed his artwork and now have stamps. And these are cling stamps. And I want you to kind of see what you are getting there on this one. You can see all the detail there in the little chihuahua. So you can see that a lot of those things the chihuahua love out there are all part of the stamp design, and these are fun to just create a fun background, your favorite method, with inks, with sprays, with alcohol inks, using your jelly plate, and to stamp on these fun backgrounds. So this one is the Chihuahua Love. These stamps are all $13.50. They are all cling stamps. The next one that I have, another cute little dog, is called Earthy York. This is a cute little Yorkie dog, also $13.50. And let you just see kind of some of the detail on him. And we didn't want to forget our cat lovers out there. So this is Felix, and I love this cat. I just think that is, those eyes, I just think that is really amazing. Also, this one is $14. I take that back. This one's a little bit more. This is Felix. He's a little bit larger. And let me see. So you can see there's a lot of that detail in there. And again, I think these are great for just doing some fun backgrounds and stamping over those backgrounds. We have a couple of other stamps also from Stamplistic, but these are completely different. I would call these kind of more fantasy stamps. The first one is called Carousel Seahorse, and you can see it is kind of like a carousel horse, but this is actually a seahorse. And again, this is a nice cling stamp. This stamp is $14. That is the Carousel Seahorse. And we also have a Carousel Dragon, also $14. So these are some fun kind of fantasy type stamps. The last two items to show you, this is something we've had before and it has been very popular. It is the Memo tape from Heaphy Doodle, and this is a very low tack tape, so it is great for holding things down temporarily while you're working, holding your paper down while you're stenciling, holding your die cuts down while you're die cutting. Very low tack, so it won't harm your paper. This one comes with a dispenser, and it is $5. We also have the refills now, so if you already have the dispenser, you can just buy the refills, and the refills of the Memo tape are $3.50. All right, let me show you. I have a few samples to show you of some of the Tutti dies, so you can get an idea of what they might look like on a card. Here we have the Moon Fairy, and here you can see, I think this is the Pumpkin Fairy House, and I have a feeling that is one of the fairies from the little mini fairy set up there flying by. Here you can see there is that Flower Roof Fairy House, and another, I think that looks like that's also one of the fairies from the mini fairy set up there, so you can see they're sized really well to work together. Here you can see we have the Magical Castle and one of the little mini fairies with that, so that is a great combination of that Magical Castle with the fairies. Here is the stained glass birdhouse, and this one I think is really stunning. This was done with glitter paper, and in this particular case they've cut it out of different colors of glitter paper and have pieced it back in. But an easier way that you can do that is you can cut your die out of black cardstock and glue it onto some white glitter paper, which we do carry in the store, and use your alcohol markers then to color the white glitter paper. So a similar look, but not quite as involved as that one there. Here is a fun one where they have combined the magical castle with the coral reef background die. So I thought that was kind of cute. Kind of looks maybe like what you might see in an aquarium. Here is that cute little witch, and they have made a fun little shaker card with her. And here is the witch leg soup. I think this one is really funny, and it's cute to be able to see it made up there. Here is a sample with that snowman panel. This is a very simple card. They've just matted the panel on some red cardstock and put it on a red snowflake background and added a little bit of glitter to create a very simple card. And finally, this is the winter lantern. I think this is really fun. They've made some tags or ornaments, and these are actually shakers that they have made these into the center part. They have made it into a shaker. So that is using the winter lantern. I do have some other samples that I am hoping to put in the newsletter that I should be getting out later today. So watch for that, and I'll try and have some additional Tutti Designs samples in there. But anyhow, go back. I know I showed you a lot of things in here, so go back and rewatch this if you want and see if there's anything that you would like. Come by or leave a comment. As mentioned, we're happy to hold items through the end of the weekend, so you can either come by before then and pick them up or call us to pay over the phone. As I mentioned, I don't know when I'll be able to get the Tutti Designs dies back in. I never know when they're going to be available for me to order them. So once I sell out of these, I don't know when or if I'll be able to get them back in. So if there's something you just have to have, don't wait to get it. All right, that I think will do it for today. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Goodbye.